We have a request. You know, it's from the Patreon. You can join the Patreon if you'd like. It's a way to... You are the sponsors of these videos, my patrons. Thank you so much for what you do. This is for MarshallOrangeLau. Kimi ga sukidato sakebitai. BAAD. Slam Dunk opening theme. I had no idea what this is going to sound like. Here we go. It's from 93. It's an oldie. Wow. Now, okay. Is this sakebitai? Is this a Japanese band? So, I think even at some time when I was like a teenager, I realized I don't know what it was that I was watching. Something about Japanese music, but I realized they're about a decade kind of behind. Not behind, but the style they liked was about a decade behind what, like, where we were. Like the style they liked in the 90s was in the 80s, and this is from like 93, but it's right in the 80s as far as music here, and it gets like proved a lot. So here we go.
Crazy for you. Kimi ga sukidato sakebitai. 明日を変えてみよう。凍りついてく時もぶち壊したい。君が好きだと叫びたい。勇気で踏み出そう。この熱い想いを受け止めてほしい。
So, okay, I'm not going to, like, go listen to this or look for this music if I'm honest, but it's kind of cool to see things like this, man. It kind of reminds you, like, I mean, it's kind of like a, what do you call it? Well, it's a time capsule, right? It's funny because the drummer looks like he's straight out of the 90s, you know. Happy to hear a male voice. Yeah, it's a little different. A little nostalgic, man. It's cool. It's just cool. And yeah, Brain Allen made a comment, trends took longer to travel around the world. And sure, you know, I mean, if they liked what they were hearing whenever they heard it, and that's what you want to emulate, then that just happens to be, you know, a little bit older than what would be current here. But even in 93, we're still... The States were still in its transitionary period between 80s freaking cock rock and going into like grunge and stuff. It's like right in that transitionary period where there was still like Poison and Motley Crue and all that crap going on, and Warrant, before the other bands kind of came in and told them to get the fuck out. So, you know, it's interesting.
何気ない君の視線に酔いしれ恋をしているようで踊らされてるような高鳴る鼓動にもう嘘はつけないいつになれば変わるこのもどかしい友情 you away 君が好きだと叫びたい何もかも脱ぎ捨て心溶かす言葉を見つけ出したい君が好きだと叫びたい今夜は返さない見つめるだけの日々なんて終わりにしよう I wanna cry for you 君が好きだと叫びたい明日を変えてみよう凍りついてく時も
It was a cool solo, if a little unnecessary and not necessarily fitting the song. But see, you know what the sound of this just reminds me of like Karate. It takes me like to Karate Kid. I know it wasn't in Karate Kid, but that's what it reminds me of. Is like straight up, like it just harkens back to that era of my childhood.
打ち壊したい君が好きだと叫びたい勇気で踏み出そうこの熱い想いを受け止めてほしい I wanna cry for you
And I say that not ironically because it was. It's just because that's what was like the most popular movie in my brain was Karate Kid. I love that movie. I watched it over and over and over. And it just happens to have something to do with Japan. It's just kind of funny how it worked out that way. But yeah, that was like my favorite thing in the world was Karate Kid. And that's very much would just sit comfortably in the soundtrack of that movie. That's all I need to clarify. Nice. You know what? That's a cool freaking snapshot, dude. So that had something to do with the Slam Dunk anime. Right on. Right on. I've seen some other music associated with that, so I've seen like clips of the show. Pretty cool, man. Thanks for that. It was a nice little trip back down memory lane.